For 10 years, John's Kitchen has been providing food, warmth and support to thousands of people. Representing the Marlborough District, here is John's Kitchen.
Kia ora, good afternoon. I'm Alistair Soman, Mayor of Marlborough. With lunch fast approaching, I guess the last thing you want to hear about is food. But that's what John's Kitchen is all about. Well, to be exact, that's what it does, but it's the least of what it achieves. The hard data about the numbers they have fed and helped are printed in your booklet. What's not there is what's happened since that was printed. When the Canterbury earthquake struck last month, it was natural that John's Kitchen was the first group that I called. I might have guessed they were already on the ball, opening their doors and hearts to the evacuees from Christchurch. In the anxious weeks that followed, volunteers from John's Kitchen worked 7 days a week, opening their drop-in centre so people from Christchurch could share their experiences over a cup of tea and freshly baked scones. It was moving to see a well-dressed Merivale matron hugging a man covered in mongrel mob tattoos, united in their loss. This would not have happened before the quake, and John's Kitchen provided the atmosphere to make that happen. When the queues outside the Winds office of people needing urgent assistance, John's Kitchen arranged 100 muffins a day to be delivered to them. John's Kitchen found more than 400 beds in local homes, farms, sounds batches where families could stay for a few nights to rest and make important decisions about their future. They provided hot food and a listening ear, and I'm not sure which was the most important. They were there when it mattered, and they made a difference to so many lives. In 10 years of operation, John's Kitchen has become a Marlborough icon. We're very proud of what it's achieved. Who better to tell you about John's Kitchen than Yvonne Dazzler? It was her vision, along with her husband Clive, that provided the foundation for this amazing organisation. Ladies and gentlemen, Yvonne Dazzler.
Ngā mihi o te ata. The seeds were sown for John's Kitchen around 12 years ago when I visited a man who told me he had no food. Now, if you're like me and you occasionally moan that there's nothing to eat in the fridge, when what you really mean is that there's nothing there you fancy eating. So I just called his bluff. I said, show me. But when he opened his pantry and there was nothing there but salt, pepper, and a half-empty can of tomato sauce, I was genuinely shocked. The man had been stirring some of his tomato sauce into a cup of hot water and calling it soup. Then a woman told me she'd counted 23 people sleeping rough when she was walking a dog along the riverbank. Homelessness in Blenheim? It was becoming apparent that our outwardly thriving little community has an underbelly, and that underbelly is poverty. In our town, unemployment's virtually non-existent, but we do have a disproportionate number of working poor. Much of the work's outdoors, with people being paid by the hour, and that means whenever it rains and they have to stay home, they don't get paid. And a day off work for whatever reason means a 20% drop in income for that week. And of course, the rent stays the same, and the kids cost just as much to feed. As a first step, we decided to offer a 2-course dinner to anyone who wished to join us. No strings attached. The night we opened was the scariest night of my life. What if we prepared heaps of food and no one showed up? Or what if hundreds turned up and there wasn't enough food? And what if people misjudged our motives? The first person to walk through the door was a Muslim refugee from Pakistan, and I went, yes. And then the next through the door was a reconstituted family with 11 kids, his, hers, and theirs. We were most definitely on the right track. The first night we served 40 people, and ever since we've hosted around 70 to 80 people at our weekly dinners, although one night last year numbers peaked at 102, and we have never, not once ever, run out of food. After a year, we began collecting unsold bread from supermarkets and making it available for school lunches. We still do that, but today John's Kitchen also runs a drop-in centre and Koha Cafe each day and budget cookery classes. And if something needs doing, well, we just do it, and it doesn't have to be local. The day after the latest Canterbury earthquake, we were able to dispatch 2 van loads of produce, and we sent another couple after that. We provided a 24-hour service to billet evacuees, as well as arranging the free lunches, snacks and dinner. Because when something like that happens, it helps put our own problems and concerns into perspective. Money's always tight, especially now that we have to find $50,000 a year for rent, power and phone, which is one of the reasons you're just listening to me waffle on and not seeing some slick presentation. We're not flash. And with the average donation for a meal coming in at around 75 cents, we just can't afford the bells and whistles. But I do have one visual aid, and this says it all, really. But we are rich where it counts. We never run short of volunteers. One woman who takes bread for a family puts in a 4-hour stint every week as her way of saying thank you. We have a mayor who ladles out the stew, and an intellectually handicapped man who peels potatoes. Oh, he's great. Inspired by some of the cooking shows on TV, Craig decided that he would like to work in a restaurant. So he comes to us in the guise of work experience. Now, for a meal, we need 10 kilos of potatoes, and of those, Craig would peel exactly 6 potatoes. But they are the most beautifully peeled potatoes you could ever wish to see. Interestingly, most of our volunteers are men, and I figure it's because much of what we do is similar to housework, and women are too smart to sign up for more of that. We keep things really simple by outlining to those who show up what needs doing and letting them choose what they do, and somehow everything gets done. It's a scary way of doing things if you're a control freak, but making it easy and letting people do their own thing really works. And the upside is because we don't have rosters and we don't make demands, every single person who comes to John's Kitchen, helpers and diners alike, is there because they want to be there. And that makes for a singularly happy environment. So who comes to John's Kitchen? Anyone who wants to. And that's a broad cross-section of society. Isolated people are brought to the Koha Cafe by their caregivers from a variety of sources. Some have mental and physical disabilities, and others are elderly and isolated. At John's Kitchen, they're treated like family. They're fed, hugged, kidded a bit, and most of all, accepted. Then, of course, there are the lost and the lonely, those solitary souls who wander the streets, behaving in somewhat strange and harmless ways, people who wouldn't be welcomed into cafes and never get invited into anyone's home. Let me tell you about one of ours. He's a man who everyone in Blenheim would recognise as the guy who walks around clutching bags of rubbish and talking to himself. Well, each year we close in all of January to give our helpers a break, and while we were closed, this man noticed that the flower gardens outside our premises were suffering in the heat. We don't have an outside tap, so each day this man carried buckets of water from a tap outside the library, several blocks away, to ensure our plants were watered. Now that's commitment, and that's a volunteer. Recovering alcoholics and addicts are encouraged to bring their children for a meal. Some of their children have never seen adults socialise without getting drunk before. And there's one woman whose whole life has changed since coming to John's Kitchen, and I'm not exaggerating. Her family has one of those names which will be recognised by anyone who reads the court pages in our local paper. She was abusive, drunk, and to tell the truth, she always ponged a bit. She stopped drinking when she started coming to John's Kitchen. It wasn't anything we said. Turns out she'd never liked drinking anyway, but the public bar of the roughest pub in town was the only place she felt accepted. She pops in most days, always clean, neat and tidy, and with a smile on her face. And that's what John's Kitchen's all about, really. It's just a family dining table writ large, where people can come together, be accepted as they are, and pitch in to help when they can. When compassion and practicality meet, it's a powerful combination. But unlike everyone else here today, we're not special. We're just ordinary Kiwis doing very ordinary things in an ordinary way. But sometimes, when ordinary people do ordinary things, we get extraordinary results. Thank you.
Leave that on.